Hi guys, my name is Kibali and I'm here to share with you guys who my Christian hero is. In fact, I was just listening to his music. There we go. Awesome. My Christian hero is Keith Green. Many of you might not have heard of him, but some of you might have. Keith Green was a Christian contemporary musician who was really gifted at how he played piano. And not just that, his songwriting, man, like if you listen to this guy's songs, you'll know that this guy has definitely spent time with Jesus. But this was not always the case. Growing up, Keith Green wanted to become a pop star and go around the world making music and singing and being part of a really big band. But this dream did not materialize as fast as he expected to. So instead, he decided to go on a spiritual discovery. He wanted to have a spiritual experience. He tried reading books to try and discover the mystical world and what that is. He read part of the Greek mythology. He read books on Hinduism, on Judaism, I think on Islam, but none of these were able to give him the answer he was trying to get to. He even tried taking drugs to get that spiritual experience, but all of it didn't work. He didn't get the thing that he was looking for. What he was in search of was a knowledge of the greater power, the greater unknown, the truth. One time we see that one of his close friends approached him and told him about Jesus. He was telling Keith that in Jesus, he could actually get to find what he was looking for, the truth. But Keith was not all thrilled about it. I mean, how is it that truth can only be found in one person, one specific person, really? In places where there are so many religions and so many options, why this one person? But anyway, Keith decided that either way, he's gonna try and find what is it with this guy called Jesus. He decided to attend different Bible studies. So his friend was attending a Bible study, so anytime his friend was going, he'd invite Keith to come along. So Keith attended the Bible studies with his friend. He went to services where Jesus was talked about, and he looked for any other meetings where people were just basically talking about Jesus or the Bible. In one of the meetings, he committed to following Jesus, but not just that. He was like, I'll try this thing and see what it's all about, just so that he can try and figure out if this is what would give him the spiritual experience he was looking for. As time went by, Keith continued attending meetings, and at some point he felt like the meetings that he was attending were not fully answering his question on why Jesus. So he decided to read the Bible for himself. He went and took the Bible and started reading chapter by chapter every single day to be able to fully understand who this guy Jesus was. Reading the Bible got Keith to fully realize the extent of the love of Jesus in his life, and this led him to leading a radical life. He grew so deep in his relationship with Christ, but he also took the Bible so literally. He took the Bible literally. As in, he got so offended when people around him didn't take Jesus as seriously as he did. In fact, he challenged everybody around him to grow deeper in their relationship with God, but he was doing it in a way that really offended them. To them, he acted as if he was the only real Christian around in that whole space, yet they had been Christians longer than him. And not just that, some of them thought that he's taking Christianity to a whole new level, making it a big deal, bigger than it actually was. Keith often clashed with his family and friends because of how radical he was. For him, he lived a life of no compromise. It was either Jesus or Jesus, like any other way was out of the discussion, you know? Keith continued making music, and with his newfound love for Christ, he felt that God was calling him to write music that would be used to tell about Jesus, to share the love of Jesus with everybody around him. He had tried doing more deals, but he decided he no longer wants to become a pop star, and instead he started writing music that would help share this message of love and the message of Jesus with everybody. Not just that, Keith decided he was gonna have concerts where he would invite people to come in for free. Come in, listen to the word of God, listen to the music, and be blessed. He could not understand why Christians actually charge people when they're inviting them to come to concerts. Well, that was a radical move. But anyway, he went around different states telling people about Jesus and having free concerts, and thousands of people were able to attend. And in these spaces, he was telling people, if you're coming to listen to me, you're in the wrong place. You need to be here to have an experience with God. So if you're not here to meet Jesus, please feel free to leave. Keith was unapologetic about his faith. We see him sharing and living out his faith wherever he went. He was the kind of person who, if he met you on the road and you told him that you have no place to sleep, he would take you with him to his house. His wife Melody was actually saying how she had to adjust to the kind of radical person Keith had been. But in all things, all he was trying to do was sharing his love with Jesus and living out what it means to be a true follower of Jesus. If you wanted to know who a true follower of Jesus was, then it was very, very easy to just look at the life of Keith and get to see what a true disciple and one who follows after Jesus is like. Keith died at the age of 28, which was really, really young. And he died with his 2 kids. They were on a plane, and the plane crashed. And he left behind his wife Melody and 2 other kids, but not just that. He left behind a legacy of faith, of what it means to truly be a follower of Jesus. Some of the famous quotes we know of Keith are, if your heart takes more pleasure in reading novels or watching TV or going to the movies or talking to friends, rather than just sitting alone with God and embracing Him, sharing His cares and His burdens, weeping and rejoicing with Him, then how are you going to handle forever and ever in His presence? You'd be bored to tears in heaven if you're not ecstatic about God right now. He also says that I'd rather have people hate me with the knowledge that I tried to save them, you know. And lastly, he said, if somebody writes a great poem, people don't run around applauding the pencil, saying, oh, what a great pencil. I'm just a pencil in God's hands. Learning about Keith's life challenges me to live out my life unapologetically, to use the resources I have and to be bold about sharing my faith with everybody around me. It also challenges me to live out what I teach. I mainly work with the kids, and I often share the good news of the love of Jesus with the kids. I share about faith and the armor of God and so many other things. But learning from Keith's life, I should not just share it, but also live it out. That if I'm actually talking about faith, I should be an example by practicing that faith in a way that everybody else around me can see. My prayer is that I'll be able to live in a way that will bring people closer to God, and that people will desire to grow deeper in their relationship with God because of how they've seen me in my relationship with God. This is a journey that I hope someday will end with a great applaud from heaven that says, well done, my good and faithful servant. May this be our prayer too. So for more information about Keith, feel free to look at the website, The Latter Days. It's going to be right here. It will be put right here. But also look for his story on YouTube. And there's a book that his wife Melody Green has written. It's called No More Compromise. I think it's called No Compromise. Oh yeah, I was right. His wife has written that's called No More Compromise. Be blessed.